This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Married at first sight. It's getting down to the pointy end.
It certainly is, yeah.
And all season we have been wanting to speak to this young lady. Her name is Lauren. She's from Western Australia. But I'm going to set the scenario of what's been happening, right? Lauren and Jono, Lauren's had her walls up a little bit. You know, she found Jono a little bit boring. And to be honest, he was. And as time goes on, they've actually gotten very, very close. Now, recently, Lauren has discovered that Jono has been texting a girl that left the experiment way earlier. Her name is Ellie. And not just a couple of texts.
Can't trust an Ellie.
Not just a couple of texts. We're talking like 100 or so texts.
Oh, yes.
And in those texts, he has never, ever mentioned Lauren's name. Now, Jono doesn't think that he's done anything wrong. Last night at the dinner party, the honesty box was brought out. There were questions to be asked. So Jono had a few questions to ask Lauren, and believe me, that girl was on fire.
How do you feel about me right now?
I think you're a snake.
Sweet. What do you need more of from me in this relationship?
I need more honesty and more loyalty, and I feel like I'm not getting it from you.
Do I live up to your expectations in a partner?
No.
Do you trust me? Why not?
I absolutely do not trust you. I feel like you completely throw me under the bath at every chance you have.
Hello,
Lauren,
Lauren.
straight between the eyes.
Hi, Lauren.
Lauren! Oh,
How are you, Lauren?
I'm so excited to be talking to you guys, seriously. I've listened to you forever and I haven't been able to talk to you, so this is super exciting for me. I don't even remember anything about Jono now.
Yeah, all it took was one loser husband and you got to talk to us.
Hey, Lauren, I just want to know, we've been wanting to speak to you all season and we haven't been allowed. Did you do something naughty and were you blacklisted? What's the reason?
No, so the reason is when these pap photos of Jono and Ellie frolicking in the beach were released and everyone found out, I wasn't allowed to do any radio because you know what you guys are like. Radio's unpredictable. They can't monitor the questions. But now that it's kind of all out, I can talk to you more freely.
Well, I have
Well,
to
it's so
tell
interesting,
you,
yeah.
I have to tell you, you are what I love about you, Lauren, and I'm very proud that you're from Perth. Is that you are the voice of all of us if we were in it.
I've got to ask you though, Lauren. A lot of the times when you're talking about past relationships, of course I've met you before, and you're one of your past relationships. So Lauren, I always think, oh no, how have you thought about what effect saying some words would be on other people in your life?
Yeah, so look, that's a big one. Obviously, I was with Ryan, and we've together for a very long time, and I was very careful with what I said. I would say my past relationship. So I had a relationship before Ryan, which was awful, and I don't care how these affect this person. It was awful. There was a lot of cheating, a lot of lying. We were a lot younger, but it was really, really difficult. But I did think about a lot. I don't want people to think, about Ryan or anything like that, because I'm still very close with him and his family, and it can't be easy, but I've spoken to him and his parents, and they're loving watching the show, so it's okay. We're all good.
Okay,
you've been so funny, mate. I think you're hilarious. I really do. I want to know, though, we spoke to Jack earlier on, and last year, what was it, Bryce?
No, that was a year before.
But Bryce and Melissa, we spoke to them, right? And everyone was sort of like going them. Where I am right now with MAFS is Jack, and that's exactly what the Married at First Sight casting wanted Jack to be. So
100%.
Yes, and that is why he was there. He was not there for any personal growth or nothing like that. Now, Tori, on the other hand, is the one I can't understand because she seems to be buying all of his bullshit. No, so is that real? Are we seeing, because we know what MAFS editing is like. What's the deal there, Lauren?
What have you seen?
Okay, I've got to say something about the editing, right? Yes, obviously, there's editing. We film for hours and hours and hours, and all you guys get to see is 1 hour with a lot of flashbacks and a lot of ads, right? So what happens is they edit it down so that we get to see, or the viewer gets to see, the best bits, but also the bits that highlight what's actually going on. So when something's happening and you don't like it, or you don't like the way you're acting, or you feel like that's not fair, often people will say, well, you didn't get to see the good thing. But it's like, we don't want to see the good stuff. We want to see all the drama. So what you saw really genuinely is what happened. We don't want to see all the boring good bits in between. So I have to say, what you see is what happens.
Okay, so all the stuff that was going down with Jono, I was reading an article, and this is just another article, but they were saying, the article said that you had a relationship in Bali, and that Jono, his thing with Ellie, that you kind of agreed to it, and then last night we see you're really going for him, and he was trying to downplay that whole relationship. But is it just for TV? Did you have something? Have you made a relationship with somebody else?
Who's in Bali?
No, if I was in a relationship, one, I'd be very busy because Ryan and I actually split up in May, right?
Yeah.
And so I got approached about MAFS. I got scouted through the DMs towards July, even July. And for me, the whole process was literally a matter of a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I didn't even sign my contract the morning of my wedding. I went to Bali after Ryan and I had split up, I think in June.
Yeah.
And I hooked up with someone. It was literally a hookup. And so when Jono and I were getting to know each other, the first thing we kind of started saying, who was your last partner? What, and I just was really honest and told him because I thought that's what we were doing. I didn't realise it was going to come back to bite me like this and he was going to throw me in my face like this.
Well, I tell you, so there's people like Jono, right, and Jack. I still don't know if Jack's legit or not. I think time will tell with him and Tori, but he just seems like a garbage can fire.
You haven't said anything about Jaden with his shirt unbuttoned down to his navel.
To be honest, though, I have to check myself with that because I currently, someone very close to me is wearing a shirt and doesn't do the buttons up, and it enrages me. But I have to realise I have to accept everyone and however many buttons I want to use.
Maybe they've just got sore thumbs, can't do them up.
What do you think, Lauren?
Okay, so I love Jaden to death. So, I had to pick one button man, and for me, if I was going to go for anyone's buttons, it had to be Jack.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, Lauren, so you just said that you were scouted, right? And they scouted very well because you're above board, you're honest, and you basically say what we all feel. So that's a good scouting. How many people on your series applied and how many were scouted? Because I really do think that's going to change the trajectory of where this is going to go. People that apply are wanting to be on this at least. Other people that have been approached, I feel like possibly Jack was one of those people.
Well, it's a good question because they have to have a mixture of your everyday people, but they also need to be able to have people that can talk to a camera and be comfortable. It's really awkward having a bunch of cameras, so not everyone can do it. You also need people with personalities that the viewer want to watch. So you get the viewer saying, we want the average everyday person. You actually don't want a whole cast of that because it's boring.
Yes.
And, they really do need to give the viewer what they want. So there's a good mix. I know Jono applied, and when he told me that, I was like, ooh. I was like...
Well, you're actually looking for love?
It's like, ick.
I was like, what?
Gross.
I was like, what man applies to be on NAF?
Well, Lauren, on that, I just want to ask you, though, whilst they were approaching you to be on this show, it was another show that you were looking to go on previously. Wasn't that how it came about?
So I got asked, ages ago to be on, another, love, I think it was called Love Triangle on Stan.
I've seen that,
I'm not going to lie, this is so bad of me.
Wow.
So I have absolutely no intention of doing it, right? And they're like, we want to fly you to Sydney for the audition. And I was like, yep, cool. So I took the trip to Sydney and I was like, yeah, and never spoke to them again. And then when I was there, the producers were like, well, we actually want you for MAFS. I was like, hell no. I was like, I would never do that. I've got a foul mouth. I've got too many skeletons in my closet. I cannot do that show. That would ruin my life. And then eventually, when Ryan and I split up and they kind of kept hitting me up, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. It could go up in flames, tipped off, but, I've had a good time, so...
Lauren,
that's what it's all about.
Can I just say, Lauren, I thought you were bloody brilliant.
Yes.
Watching that show made me like you more and more to the point where I could go to the pub with this girl. She's brilliant.
Well, I would love to do that if you're free.
Yeah, so, mate, always be free for you, Lauren. And not just that, usually I sort of resent anyone from MAFS getting success or a lot of followers on Instagram. I really wish you 1,000 million followers. I think you're bloody great.
You've been very entertaining.
That's all we want, really.
You're a loose unit. We love that around here, Lauren. We're bang up for it. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Come in when you're back in Perth, all right?
Yeah, thanks, Loz.
Bye.
Bye.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.